As the Department of Higher Education and Training, we are aware that the matriculation examinations are a very important milestone in the lives of young people. We would like to make them aware of approximately 517,402 opportunities available to them within the post-school system. That is in our 26 universities, 50 technical and vocational education and training colleges, and various workplace-related training opportunities supported through the 21 sector education and training authorities, otherwise known as the SETAs, which help to promote and fund occupational or skills programs linked to educational institutions and workplaces. These opportunities can further be broken down as follows. We have 212,472 new entrant opportunities at universities. We have 133,551 engineering and business studies opportunities at our TVET colleges. We've got 88,794 occupationally directed apprenticeship or learnership opportunities done in collaboration with TVET colleges, SETAs, and employers. We've got 30,750 new artisan learners to be registered and 51,835 learning program opportunities in the form of 5,087 apprenticeships, 9,073 bursaries, 20,138 learnerships, 17,537 skills and work readiness programs supported through the SETAs. This is the second cohort of 644,536 grade 12 learners who wrote the curriculum and assessment policy statement, aligned final exams for the National Senior Certificate. They achieved a pass rate, as the Minister of Basic Education has told us, of % with 455,825 learners satisfying the requirements of the National Senior Certificate, with the following notable achievements. 166,263 learners qualifying for admission to bachelor studies at higher education institutions.
Blade Nzimande there, the Minister of Higher Education, just briefing the media on post-school education and training opportunities for 2016. You can, of course, continue watching that briefing live on DSTV channel 404. But staying with universities in the Western Cape now, deferred exams are progressing smoothly at the University of Cape Town as well as the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. They were postponed due to the fees must fall protest late last year.
One of 26 public universities. This includes the Salt Lake University in Kimberley and the University of Mpumalanga, both of which are new universities entering their third year of operation. These two new universities started with a modest enrollment of 130 students at Salt Lake and 140 students at the University of Mpumalanga in 2014. This year, their enrollment will increase to 797 at Salt Lake University. This Sefako Health Sciences University will be entering its second year of operation with an intake of 1,300 students. South Africa has recently established 9th medical school, and the first in the democratic South Africa, will open its doors for the first intake of 60 new students at the University of Limpopo during this month. This is the second historically disadvantaged university to be involved in the training of our medical doctors, and is linked over the long term to the presidential project of building an academic hospital in Limpopo. The 26 public universities offer a diverse range of degrees, diplomas, and higher certificates to prepare the matric class of 2015 to take their rightful place in the country's economy. The national average annual increase over the next 5-year period in the number of first-time entering students at higher education institutions is targeted at 4.7%, with first-time entering students making up approximately 25% of the undergraduate student population. In 2016, our public universities will provide access to approximately 212,472 new entrants wishing to pursue their studies across all general, technical, and professional fields, including business and management, science, engineering, agriculture and technology, humanities, social sciences, the arts, and education. Those who have completed grade 12 with a minimum of a higher certificate achievement can also consider studying further at a TVET college for a national diploma with 133,551 study opportunities available for both engineering and business studies. The National Development Plan requires that by 2030 at least 30,000 qualified artisans be produced per year. In South Africa, there is a growing trend of matriculants utilizing learnership or apprenticeship opportunities to become artisans in the civil, mechanical, electrical, manufacturing, or support services career fields. Matriculants who have an inclination to become an artisan, such as a motor mechanic, plumber, electrician, chef, hairdresser, among others, can register at the National Artisan Development Support Center in Gauteng by going to their website or use their call center as provided for there, with the number of the call center being 011 736 4400, or by using the email as outlined there, which we hope the media will assist to also inform about these details. Also, those who wish to become artisans can also approach any of the student support services offices at any of our public TVET colleges for more information. However, it is critical to note that in order to be accepted into an artisan program, matriculants must have completed maths and science with a minimum mark of 50% in each of these subjects. Artisan work has become much more technologically advanced and requires a higher skill level. Those matriculants who do not have mathematics and science, but have passed and wish to consider a career as an artisan, can also register at this Artisan Development Center for what is known as the Generic Trade Preparation Program, which is a bridging course being implemented at public TVET colleges. This bridging course includes maths, engineering science, a technical subject such as electronics, life orientation and computer skills, and a short course on artisan development legislation. Out-of-school youth who wish to enter the world of work or need to increase their skills capabilities can consider the options of learnerships, apprenticeships, and skills programs. TVET colleges also offer occupationally directed programs that are accredited by the SETAs under the auspices of the Quality Council for Trades and Occupations. Amongst these are programs that are offered through apprenticeship or learnership agreements between student, TVET, colleges, and employers. TVET colleges have set aside 88,794 study opportunities for this mode of delivery. SETAs will further be providing 51,835 learning programs opportunities in the form of 5,087 apprenticeships, 9,073 bursaries, 20,138 learnerships, and 17,537 skills and work readiness programs. In pursuit of the department's mandate to increase access and success in TVET college learning programs and to transform TVET colleges into institutions of choice, construction at 3 of the 12 planned new TVET college campuses started in 2014, and these are at various stages of completion. I was hoping we'll be having some showing the buildings there. I've got it on my iPad, but I can't connect my iPad to what is there, because it would have been good just for us to get a glimpse of what is going on. This month, January, we'll see the first student enrollment intake at the Tabazimbi campus, while student enrollment intakes at the Bambanani and Kandla campuses will start in April 2016. The development and refurbishment of TVET college infrastructure will include student accommodation facilities and modern teaching and learning lecture rooms, workshops, simulation rooms, and resource and recreational centers. As the department, we are committed to realizing the right to further education, meaning higher education, as well as TVET education, as enshrined in our Constitution. This means ensuring that further education opportunities are available and accessible to all, and that academically deserving students are not denied access due to financial need. We need to ensure over the medium to long term that sufficient financial aid is made available to support all academically deserving but financially needy university students. Though income contingent, academically deserving but financially needy university students through income contingent loans and bursaries, and at the same time to strive to keep university fees affordable. One of the most successful schemes established by government to assist students who display academic ability but come from poor, disadvantaged families is the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, in short known as NSFAS, which provides public loans and bursaries to students at all 26 public universities and 50 public TVET colleges throughout the country. NSFAS will be funding 205,000 first-time entering and continuing eligible students at universities and 200,000 students at TVET colleges in 2016 by providing student loans and bursaries totaling 10 billion rands. So NSFAS has now reached 10 billion. Government, and all this, by the way, part of this has been announced by the President, and also I'm saying this in concurrence with the Minister of Finance, who is the person responsible for monies in government, that government has committed an additional 6.912 billion funding to support university education in the system. That's over and above the 10 billion rand. Now, how is this additional 6.9 billion broken down? First, we must say this is a strong indication that government has listened to the concerns raised by university students. As an immediate measure, we have resolved the 0% fee increment for 2016 with universities, which amounted to 2.33 billion rand. That's taken care of. It is important to emphasize that university students who meet the NSFAS means test will not be required to pay upfront payments when registering for the 2016 academic year. We need to repeat that university students who meet the NSFAS means test will not be required to pay upfront payments when registering for the 2016 academic year. They are catered for. That's 205,000 university students. Government has also reprioritized 2.543 billion rands of state funding in the 2016-2017 financial year to be allocated to NSFAS to provide for loans to assist 71,753 identified students who qualified for NSFAS funding but were either partially or not funded at all over the past 3 academic years. This means that these deserving students will not be barred from continuing with their studies because they owe universities outstanding fees. A further 2.39 billion, these figures, by the way, is breaking down the 6.9, okay? So the third component that is part of the 6.9 billion is this further 2.039 billion, which will be allocated to NSFAS in the 2016-17 financial year to ensure that these students that I'm talking about, who are still in the university system, are supported financially to continue and complete their qualifications. In addition to the funds that NSFAS received from the funds voted by Parliament, the National Skills Fund makes further annual allocations aimed at funding the full cost of study towards critical skills programs most needed for the growth and development of the economy. NSFAS has been allocated over 700 million rands from the National Skills Fund for full bursaries for scarce and critical skills for the current year, as we say, from the National Skills Fund. Now, these are full bursaries for students who are in scarce skill areas, that they get supported as part of addressing skills needs and skills shortages in our country. This funding is made available through the financial aid offices at universities, and students wishing to make use of these bursaries are advised to enroll for critical skill study programs, which include science, maths, health sciences, engineering, and many others. The department is committed to expanding access and success in our institutions for students who have special needs. At our TVET colleges, for example, government pays 80% of the program cost of the student's choice, with an additional allocation being made dependent on the type and severity of the disability. In addition, NSFAS has earmarked 72.9 million rands in the 2016 academic year to provide financial aid to disabled students in universities. The Department of Higher Education and Training, in collaboration with the Department of Basic Education, launched the Apply Now campaign with the aim of creating awareness of career options, study opportunities, and application procedures for post-school education and training. In 2015, we reached out to grade 9 to 12 learners in 6,812 public secondary and combined schools in the country, distributing 1 million Apply Now booklets. This campaign complements what we call the Career Development Services Helpline for advice, or for those who need help to send an SMS or please call me to the numbers that are provided there. The Keta radio programs also that are weekly flighted on 10 SABC African languages radio stations, including Afrikaans. Social media platforms and career awareness events. The National Career Advice portal provides access to career information on career pathways, occupations, and relevant education and training opportunities. The department is again operating what we call the Central Application Clearinghouse, CATCH, this month of January as well as next month. The CATCH service has been developed to assist learners who qualify for higher education studies and have applied for a space at an institution but have not been offered a place at the institution of their choice after the matric results were released. It is also accessible to those learners who did not apply before the closing dates last year and now find that they are eligible for higher education studies. Learners looking for spaces in the university education system can contact the toll-free call center on 0800 356 635, 0800 356 635, or send an SMS with their name, ID, and contact number to 49200, 49200 for SMS. And they will be telephoned back free of charge. They can also access the system via the website, the CATCH website, as outlined there, and the CATCH service will verify the learner's information and forward it to institutions that still have unfilled places. Where places exist and applicants meet the requirements, institutions will contact learners to offer them available places. The 2016 CATCH service is also linked to the Career Development Helpline, which provides general career information services and to assist anyone interested in pursuing further education and training opportunities or other skills development opportunities in the post-school education and training system. Learners will also be offered free career advice and be guided through possible alternative options at TVET colleges, artisan training, and other skills development opportunities. As Minister of Higher Education and Training, I have no doubt that these initiatives and campaigns create awareness of and provide useful information about career and funding options for post-school education and training. I want to take this opportunity to urge those who have not passed matric to rewrite their examinations or to access all the sources of relevant information that the department has created specifically for them and to choose from a range of options available within the post-school education and training system. My department, in line with government's programs, remains committed to expanding diversity and creating more opportunities in the post-school education and training system so that we can move away from a post-school system that is disproportionately dependent on access to university. We urge those who have not been accepted at universities to explore all the other post-school education and training options. We also urge all students who have been accepted in our institutions to go and register so that they can secure their spaces and not risk losing the opportunities provided to them by both the universities, colleges, and government. The Department of Higher Education and Training welcomes the class of 2015 into the post-school education and training system, where learning and growth can take place in our 26 universities and 50 TVET colleges, and through the 21 sector education and training authorities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. That was our statement presented by the Minister. We are going to, without any wasting of time, open the opportunity to our colleagues in the media to ask questions arising from the statement, and then on the basis of that, we will respond. We will take the first round. The second round, we may have to cross to Cape Town. As a tradition, you just introduce yourself, the media house you are coming from, and then you ask your question. I can see there's a hand already. Let me take 5 hands for now and see from that basis we'll then come back. I know two hands this side. There's another one there. In the light, I can't see exactly. We have 3. Yeah, I've seen that one. Oh, there's another one. Go again.
Behind cameras.
Okay, I'm having 4 right now. Okay, let me start with you. Yeah. Sure.
Thank you, Sipho Sturman from SABC News. Just a point of clarity here. You mentioned the additional 6 billion by government funding. Did the 2.3 from the zero fee increment come from that 6 billion? And going forward, are we going to go forward with zero fee increment? What's going to happen going to the future? Because again, when you go to 2017 academic year, there might be calls for another zero fee increment. What's the plans going forward? And two, if I can just ask a second question, you're promoting a lot of TVET and FET colleges, but the issue there is their reputation. Often students who carry qualifications from institutions don't get jobs because employers don't really recognize or trust them. So what are you doing to raise the credibility of these TVET and FET colleges? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My colleague there, just, yeah.
Colgan FD from the Business Day. Good afternoon, Minister. Just to follow on with my colleague's question about the reputation and credibility of TVET colleges, still a great deal of criticism with regards to the quality of these colleges and the cost effectiveness of the spending that the government is doing in terms of making them institutions of first choice. There's a lot of criticism that the department has failed to aggregate or in any way systematically show the kind of pass rates or throughputs of these colleges. Can you please respond to that? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, at the top there. Yeah.
Good day, everyone. My name is Johnny Saima Romo. I'm with African News Agency. I want to ask the Minister, please, regarding the zero fee increase. How much longer does it think with this interaction with universities? How much longer can it go on? How feasible is it to continue on the no fee increase base? And for how many years can we go on that basis? Thank you.
Thank you. We had a hand right at the back there. Oh, you are covered. Oh, you are, okay. So. Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Thank you, Bongiwa Kumana from ENC. I have 2 questions. Minister, you stressed the issue of access to education, and one of the things that we saw play out last year were the fees must fall protests. Now we are seeing quite a bit of that starting to crop up, and students are demanding free education. Is that a possibility? What is being done when it comes to ensuring that their demands are being met? Because they're saying that they're not satisfied with the 0% increase that they got last year. And the second question goes to the DG of universities. Many of these students are qualifying for bachelors, but there isn't enough space at university, and as has been mentioned earlier on, FET colleges don't really have much of a great reputation. What then, where do these students then go? Because most of them aren't really interested in going to FET colleges because they've got a university entrance. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Minister. This is Moluko Mloto from Power FM. There were allegations that students in the FET colleges were not receiving their certificates. Have you resolved that problem?
Okay, thank you very much. I will allow the Minister and the panel, some of the questions we will stratify them in the panel, and we'll then, on the basis of that, come back and see where do we go. Thank you very much. I'm not sure the Minister.
Thank you very much. Sipho, the 2.3 is part of the 6.9 billion. The 6.9, maybe if I could put it simply, if you look at those pages, I want to summarize that quickly, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I can do that.
What this 6.9 constitutes of, so that it's clearer.
Okay.
Then I'll continue.
Hello, is that working?
You have to press on the side there.
Is it on? Is it on now? Okay. Thank you. It consists of a 2.33 billion to deal with the 0% fee increase, which is going to be made available, part of it now and part of it in April. And then it includes an amount of 2.5 billion that is going to be focused on dealing with loans that will ensure that the students who were already in the system but who were either unfunded or underfunded in the last 3 academic years will be funded, their fees will be paid, and so they will be able to enter into the system going forward. And then there's an additional 2.039 billion which will enable those students to be supported to complete their qualifications and be funded in the 2016 academic year. Thank you.
It's clear, sir. Yes, it's important that we get that clarity, because I've been getting a sense that there hasn't really been clarity for some of our journalists. At least it's important that we clarify that. The issue of fee-free or free higher education for the poor is going to be a subject of the Presidential Commission that the President spoke about, and when we briefed him prior to this press conference, he also indicated that he wishes, he's working towards that he announces the commission very soon. Because that is the commission then that's going to deal with some of the questions that are being asked here. Can we have, for how long are we going to be having 0% increase? And what about fees going into the future? All that will be dealt with by the commission that the President is going to be announcing soon, including the members of the commission as well as its terms of reference. Now, that would be the commission that we hope that everyone will give it a chance to do its work and come back with the recommendations. Now, Carl, on TVET colleges, it also links with what Bongil was asking. Yes, it is true that there are still challenges in our TVET colleges in terms of quality of some of the programs. But there are many, many, many good programs and colleges, by the way, in the system. Maybe what we will do at some stage, if you agree, we could take you to 1 or 2 colleges and just see what is actually going on there. For instance, we visited recently, was it Eguruleni West or Eguruleni East? Most of the youth you see, for instance, in the hotels around the airport are from those colleges. Also from those colleges, there are apprentices, many of them become artisans and get employed, who are fixing aeroplanes at OR Tambo International. And it's not only here, but many other colleges where, for instance, this one college, they've got Eguruleni East, Eguruleni West. Yeah, they've got a very good diesel mechanic program. All those students who does diesel mechanic there, they all get employed. In fact, the principal was telling us 95% of them actually end up getting employed. So there's lots of good and best practice in the system, much as there are still weaknesses. Also, it's not entirely correct that parents now are running away from this. We've doubled the intake at TVET colleges. Between 2010 and 2015, we doubled from 370 to 790,000. Which means that somehow we are not yet where we want to be, but we are turning the corner in terms of the attitude of our youth as well as our parents about TVET colleges. Yes, the challenge is to ensure, because if we can ensure in these colleges that we are able to provide workplace experience for students. That improves quality. And also, not only that, it also then attracts students better to those. We are also strengthening partnership between universities and the SETAs with the TVET colleges. And also we must say that some companies, there are some companies, Swiss companies for instance, that we are working with, who are very excited about this idea of pairing of colleges and employers. And many of the employers are benefiting. They are finding this very helpful in terms of being able to identify the best students. In short, we've been having a very comprehensive turnaround strategy, including the training of lecturers. I am very confident that in a matter of a few years from now, the image of the colleges will have changed quite significantly. Of course, the challenge is to invite employers to come and partner with these colleges so that they can shape what is taught there and also provide workplace experience. Now, Johnny, I think I've answered your question about zero fee, which is the commission, and students not satisfied with 0% fee increases. That was all the demands that have been placed on the table by the students are being dealt with. We've just announced what we are doing with the issue of 0%, as well as the issue of student debt, as well as supporting fully those students who are already in the system so that they don't incur any further debt, and that they are able to actually complete. Of course, we would like to make a very strong plea to our students and parents to make sure that they grab this opportunity and they work hard so that we reduce this high failure rate that we actually still have in the system. Because it's no use to put so much money only to find that half of it or close to half of it just goes down the drain because of a high failure rate and so on. Now, I will leave, there was a question specifically directed at you. DG, I will also leave as I always say, it's nice to be a minister because the more difficult questions, you just shove them to the officials. You answer the easy ones and the nicer ones. The DG is going to deal with TVET certificates.
No.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Minister, my colleagues, and the media representatives here. Perhaps let me start at this point. There is nowhere in the world whereby the school-going population, when they have finished the schooling, it all goes to universities. The international trend is about 30% of the student population who passed grade 12 or whatever measure, depending country to country, who actually go to universities. 70% largely is normally catered through technical and vocational education and training. That is an international trend in all countries in actual fact. And the countries that couldn't actually master that arrangement in terms of their offerings, largely they were hit by the economic global crisis, as we have witnessed. And the countries that could weather this better are the ones who put emphasis in training at a technical and vocational education and training level. That's the first thing. Meaning, therefore, it has never been envisaged that everybody who passes grade 12, the only route is a university. No university, there is nothing. There is no economy that works like that in actual fact, globally. I think it's important to emphasize this point so that we can get the system perfectly balanced in relation to various
forms of post-school education and training provision. Now, secondly, I think here we have to make a differentiation or a distinction in terms of how colleges were perhaps 6 or 5 years or so. One of the things in relation to the challenges that we picked up, especially in the college sector, was to identify all areas that require critical intervention. And we developed a turnaround strategy with a view of addressing those areas. One area is the question of governance. We have actually worked quite very hard in developing the systems insofar as the question of governance is concerned, including appointing councils based largely on expertise from various sectors in their complementarity to actually be in charge of governance in these colleges. The question of management, we invested a lot in training and appointing principals and managers who are quite competent in these colleges. The other area we addressed quite aggressively is financial management in them, partnering with SAICA with a view of assigning chartered accountants to work in these colleges in building up financial sound systems. And it doesn't end there. The question of improving the quality of provision in these colleges, we've worked quite very well, including the facilities, infrastructure. There is a lot that we've actually invested in them. We didn't end there. We've worked with universities in developing programs in collaboration with them so that there is better articulation between what is taking place or offered at college level as well as what is happening at universities. As a result, some of the programs that are offered in our TVET colleges are offered in collaboration with universities. So I think we have to make this distinction of talking in the past and the colleges as they currently exist and what is happening in each and every technical and vocational education and training college in the country. So what we are working hard now on is the question of marketing, and that's what we are asking you to assist us because we've done rebranding. They are no longer further education and training. They are technical and vocational. And that, in actual fact, is also linked to the subject offerings in the colleges towards biasness to critical skills in them. And that is the infrastructure we are putting up in the refurbishments, the new TVET college campuses that are in there, as well as workshops that we are building and also improving the older ones. I think it's important to clarify this point so that we do not live with the myth that in colleges, in actual fact, there isn't much of value which is happening. It may be the case in the past, but at the present moment, that's not the case. Now, in regard to the certification, the problem here that we've been experiencing all along is in respect to the provision of the IT services, which in terms of processes of government, it's done by state information technology agents. So we worked with them on a project plan in order to address the question of the backlogs in the first instance and continue the printing of certificates without any backlogs. And the timelines that we have agreed with them is that by the end of January 2016, they would have wiped the backlog. And we continue monitoring progress in this respect. And as we are sitting here, the last verification by the 6th of January 2016, they have printed outstanding 40,000 certificates. And the CEO has assured me that they are on course in wiping out the backlog in the certification in the TVET college sector. And I've got no reason at the moment to doubt his commitment in fulfilling that requirement. I think I've answered all the questions that have been posed and added a few in latching into a few other areas.
Thank you. I think the Director General has actually given a lot of information around the opportunities in TVETs, and it's very important to recognize those. The question that was asked was that there aren't enough spaces for all the students who've passed the National Senior Certificate. And as the DG has indicated, we would never expect that all of those students who pass the National Senior Certificate at the various levels would go into a university. Now, if you look at the numbers coming out of the basic education system, it was around about 166,263 that met the bachelor's diploma requirements, the bachelor's requirements. One would expect that many of those students would enter into the higher education system, into universities, and you will see that we've got 212,472 spaces. So there are plenty of spaces to cover those with bachelors. Individuals who achieve diploma may come into the university system depending on which qualifications they apply for and whether or not they meet the entry requirements for those. Most of the individuals who are going for the higher certificate would most likely go into certificate programs within the TVET system. But of course, we also have many other students, prospective students, who didn't complete matric in a particular year, who enter into the university system. These are students who either did a gap year the year before, or who have decided to change their career and are coming now into the university system. And so the students are generally competing for those spaces. I think the one place that we need to advise students, if they have applied for highly sought after programs such as medicine, engineering, chartered accounting and so on, there will be high competition for those spaces. And if you do not get into the program of your choice, then you should utilize the catch system to look at finding a placement in a suitable program. Most of those students you will find would be highly successful matriculants, and we would certainly want to be able to assist them in getting into the university system. I think we must also remember that there are opportunities across the entire PSET system for our students coming out of the schooling system, and that if they are disappointed and don't get into a university, there's also the possibility of the private higher education sector where we have degree programs and diploma programs on offer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DDG. We will have to check with the team in Cape Town if we are having any hands there. Are we having any indication in Cape Town?
Yes, we got one question for now, starting with Jan.
Okay.
Jan Gerbers, Netwerk 24. The matter of accessibility versus language is set to continue this year, especially at historically Afrikaans universities. Do the department have a specific plan to deal with that matter, or is that also something that's included in the Commission's work?
Language.
That's it.
Thank you very much. Can I just take an advantage, because we only had one question there, if there are a couple of questions so that we we summarize. My colleague there, you want to make a follow-up. So those are the two. Okay. We can start.
Sipo Masumbuga for the Times newspaper. My question is directed to the DG responsible for universities. Out of the 12,000 odd, 212,000 odd spaces available at universities, how many of those are for medicine, and how do they compare to the medicine opportunities available last year? Thank you.
Sipo Sturman from SABC News again. Pockets of activism for protests again this year reimagined with suspended its registration. UP also getting reports that UP students are supporting workers on protests over outsourcing. Minister, what is your response to this? You remember that last year there were criticisms that you took too long to respond to these protests. Do you have anything to say on this new emerging protest now?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Minister.
Oh, okay. I thought that there was still some more. Look, the issue of language, of instruction, is part of a whole set of resolutions, for instance, that were taken at our Higher Education Summit, including issues also that have been raised by student protests, including Roads Must Fall. And we agreed, even at the meeting with the President, that all those issues are going to be dealt with systematically, which would include the issues of curriculum transformation, the issues of institutional culture, which language would be part of that, but it's broader than that. As a department at the moment, we are working at a program of action for purposes of discussing all these issues that have been put on the table. Some of them, they cannot be dealt with overnight, but there will be a process of discussion. But also we encourage institutions themselves to also have their own discussions, because no institution is the same as the other. We would like to see strengthened engagement. One of the complaints that students were having was that they are not being listened to. We have stressed to the institutions that it's very important that fora are created for ongoing engagement, because many of these challenges can be dealt with at institutional level, if truth be told. Of course, those that are systemic, we will have to find and create platforms to discuss them at national level. So that is how I would answer the issue of language. But you will also know that we do have language policies, and all our institutions have got language policies that must ensure that language is not used as a tool to discriminate or for students to feel that they are not part of an institution. So all those things will have to be addressed. I will leave to die, once I've finished, the question of the numbers. Although sometimes asking specific numbers when we had not come to deal with that, it becomes a bit difficult. It's like an ambush. Not that we don't have those numbers, but we may not have them here. Well, let's hope that DAI has got some solution to that. I don't know. I can see we've got lots of numbers. I can't even see in front of you now. Now, on the issue of protests, of course, it is our wish as government that we would have as little, ideally no disruptions of the academic program at all. Especially because we have these challenges that we are talking about, issue of pass rates and throughput rates in our institutions. We would ideally like to see that not a single day is lost, so that students can actually focus, because this is their future, and it is also, of course, the future of the economy of our own country. But of course, we live in a democratic society where there is a right to protest. So we can't stop students from protesting. But what I want to say is that what we have announced today, or elaborated upon some of them, shows that we've actually gone a long way to try and address the many issues that the students had actually raised. In fact, we would make a plea that, as we say in our statement, that we request the students to actually go and register. We are paying for NSFAS students. The others will have to pay for themselves. But having said that, one of the things that the commission, Presidential Commission, is going to look into is that the NSFAS means test is too low. There are students who do not qualify for NSFAS, yet they come from families where they can't afford university education. That is going to be looked at, what we normally call the missing middle, as part of the commission as to what is the answer. Already there is been lots of preliminary work that is being done. The commission won't start from scratch. That we've also been doing as a department. We would like to plead with student leadership in particular. By the way, I will be meeting the SRCs. When is that? On Thursday. I'm meeting with all the SRCs so that we are actually able to engage and hopefully find one another. We are not substituting for universities because we can't substitute for institutions, but just to have a general discussion around some of the challenges that we face. We are also concerned that university spaces are very competitive, by the way. That students should also be careful, those who have been admitted, not to actually lose those opportunities. That's why we are emphasizing and requesting that much as we understand, we've long said, we understand the issues that the students are raising. Legitimately, they are asking us to implement our own policies. But at the same time, we must be careful then that we do not lose these opportunities. We would really urge that there is no issue that is not for discussion. And we heard what the students were saying. We hear what they are saying. We've got these interventions we've made, and we've got plans going forward, especially the issue of the Presidential Commission. Thank you. Dar, you want to? Medical spaces.
I've looked to see if I can actually get the number of first-time entry medical spaces, but I don't have that available here. But the number of first-time entry spaces in health sciences education programs generally, that includes dentistry, medical, chiropractic, dental support services and allied health, nursing, optometry, etc., etc. There are a whole long range of different programs there. That amounts to in 2016, 10,478, so about 10,500 spaces for the health sciences programs. And that is compared to a number of 10,010, around about 10,000. So it's about 500 more additional spaces within the health sciences generally this year as compared to last year. If my memory serves me, I think there's a total number of around about 2,000 in medicine. But I can't give you those exact numbers right now. But that's approximately the numbers, and we will find approximately 5,000 students applying for those 2,000 spaces. And I think that just emphasizes the need for those students who don't get into those spaces to recognize the competition, and then also to ensure that they work with their university or come through the catch system to get assistance with finding an appropriate space within the university. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. I think this should be taking us to conclusion for this media brief. Once again, we want to thank you very much for this attendance, and we have no doubt that you are going to report positively as it is. Thank you very much. Next time.
Yeah, no thanks.